What's going on, everyone? I knew I could do it. I knew I'd get back in the flow. So I've smashed out 2 podcasts in 2 weeks, which compared to where I was at the start of the year, I'm absolutely buzzing about. Whatever I say today is bonus, really. So I don't even care what I come out with. Um, yeah, if you can see on the video, I'm all wrapped up because Queenstown is fucking Baltic at the minute. Um, Winter is absolutely coming, but no snow on the mountains. That's all we're needing. The reason I jumped on today to talk to you is I was recently doing a talk with what we call the Leisurelies group at the event centre. So it's a group of over 65s that come and train together. And I did a bit of a presentation to help them improve their nutrition. And even though it was obviously aimed at that demographic, I really think what I spoke about within it is really applicable to everyone. And there was a little part of that I wanted to go through because I think it is just something that is so relevant at this point in time where so many people online make healthy eating seem like this really sort of unattainable thing. Like it's something that you have to cook from scratch. You can't have any added ingredients. You can't have anything that's like ready made in a shop. And my philosophy really is anti this, I guess. Maybe in an ideal world, everyone would be eating predominantly whole foods. However, the evidence for that is actually a lot less clear than you think, and the impact is very, very small, even if we do give it that benefit of the doubt, compared to a like mainly whole foods diet. So going from predominantly whole foods to almost exclusively has negligible, if any, benefit. So for me, we actually need to lower the bar in terms of what would constitute healthy eating. And I think this really hits home for those people that are that very classic perfectionist, all or nothing kind of person, where if you're going to do something, you have to do it like 100%. So if you are going to eat healthy, every single meal needs to be from scratch. Everything needs to be like loads of different vegetables, loads of lean protein, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's not really the point. It's just that for these kind of perfectionist people, we actually need to lower the bar. We need to drop the standards. Now, you probably had a bit of experience on this when you were younger, going out and stuff. Not that I did it, obviously. But dropping your standards is a really effective way to actually increase consistency. I guess paradoxically, we think that to improve our diet, we need to set higher standards. But I would actually argue for many people it's the opposite. Because people get into this, people who are that perfectionist tendency really do get into that thing where they're either completely smashing it for a while, but then life gets in the way, they have to get a takeaway or they have to go to the shop and buy something, and because they've not hit this very high standard, they go, fuck it, I've already screwed up, so I may as well just do XYZ, and then it falls apart completely and they spiral. So for these kind of people, I really recommend actually setting the bar a little bit lower and thinking what is good enough. Now, obviously this concept sounds alright in theory, but essentially what we're doing is rather than these big pendulum swings between, I don't know, I just followed my hand with my eyes, rather these big pendulum swings between absolutely smashing it and then giving up completely, we're really embracing this like middle ground area where yes, it's not perfect, but it does the job, it ticks all the boxes, and then we can move on. So then rather than these like kind of real fluctuations in progress, we're just getting slow and steady, and even within that there are going to be days where that drops a little bit. So progress isn't this like linear thing. There are going to be ups and downs, but if we can always move in the right direction, that's going to be so much better than just smashing it for a bit and then giving up completely. So in terms of actual like food choices, I really encourage you to lean into those convenience options. So for example, in an ideal world, yes, with rice, we might cook rice from scratch. However, we also have the like microwave options. So we've got those little cups you can get that are a single portion, just heat them up. And I know I use these a lot myself where I might have done a meal prep in terms of like, I don't know, a curry or a stir fry or something like that. But then I haven't got the rice for it. And one option would be, I've got the stir fry but no rice, so I'll just sack it off completely and buy something from the shop. Whereas if I can just go, sweet, just grab a rice, that's done, ticks the box. Breads and wraps, they're a great option as well. Bread seems to be really vilified in the last, 20 years, I guess, since the whole low carb thing has really took off. But when we step back and look at the bigger picture, if a shop bought wrap allows us to have a lean protein, some salad, some healthy fats from like avocado and cheese, then that is a great option, and that's not something that we want to discourage people from doing. And then even within our proteins, so the like shop bought like shredded chicken or the marinated tofu, tinned tuna, things like that. Yes, they're going to have a bit of oil in the sauce, bit of seasoning, blah, blah, blah. Not perfect, absolutely not trying to argue that. But if we step back and again look at the bigger picture, that's an overall health-seeking meal. So we need to actually start looking at meals as a whole rather than focus on the very specific ingredients. Just to kind of carry on down the food chain, I guess, then we've got fats, so your cheeses, your spreads, sauces, nuts and seeds. They're great convenience options that you can just add to a meal, no prep, and you're there. And then probably the one where we can get the most bang for the buck is the fruit and veg. So obviously fruit and veg goes off. I suppose all these things do really, don't they? But fruit and veg goes like all soggy and manky to the point where you just don't really want it, don't it? We've all got that random gross little bit of lettuce in the fridge. So yeah, I completely get that you don't necessarily want to buy too much of that kind of stuff because you don't want to waste it, and then you just feel like you're wasting money. So if we can go for these more convenient options, just to add to that actually, before I move on, then the chopping element, for a lot of people, just the physical act of having to get an onion, chop it up, get your peppers, all that kind of stuff is a real nuisance. So where we've got those like salad kits, or we've got the bags of stir fry veg, frozen veg, all those things that are minimal to no prep, at best you just chuck it in a microwave. Oh, is it best or is it worse? Maybe it's worst. At worst you chuck it in the microwave, but then within 2 minutes you've got yourself some veg ready to go. Similarly with the salad bags. And just another point on the frozen option, so your frozen fruit and veg, there is a bit of a misconception out there that these are less healthy, but I would actually probably argue that it's the opposite, because typically they're snap frozen, so they're frozen really, really fast at a time where they're most ripe, and that's actually when the vitamin mineral content would be at its highest. So the frozen options are really great, and they're, again, sort of what I was saying at the start, in terms of like the whole food v slightly more processed food. The evidence for frozen v fresh fruit and veg is, like I say, at best neutral, worst neutral. I'm really struggling with this today, aren't I? At worst neutral, but at best it's actually even beneficial for the frozen options. So I would definitely be including those in there. They're really, really handy tools. And just to maybe give you a couple of I'm trying not to sneeze there. A couple of options that would tick all those boxes. So you might just get a tin of fish, like the tomato and basil ones say, just a little thing of tuna. Then you've got a microwave rice cup, and then a pack of ready to go frozen veg. And then you've got a meal that's like roughly, 400 calories, say, and at least 30 grams of protein. So in less than 2 minutes, you've smashed out something unreal. Well, I say unreal. It's tuna, a bit of veg and rice, but it ticks the boxes. It's going to keep you moving forward. It keeps momentum, and is a much better option than just going, oh fuck it, I'm just going to go and get a takeaway. Similarly, just a wrap with a salad bag and some chicken, maybe a bit of avocado and cheese. Jobs are good, and you're looking at over 30 grams of protein, probably 350, 400 calories. And then even to take this one step further, you have got the meal prep options like the HelloFresh, and then microwave meals. And yes, they might not be perfect, but if they again are going to keep you moving forward somewhat, then that is a brilliant trade-off, and it is really, really effective. So just to round it off, I really think you should actually maybe drop your standards in terms of what you think healthy eating might be, because that will actually increase the chances of you constantly moving in the right direction, constantly making progress, rather than just smashing for a bit and then giving it up completely. So that was actually all I wanted to go through today. Like I said, this was a bit of an extract from a talk that I did recently, and I just thought it would be really useful for a lot of you who I know from speaking to you are that kind of, it all goes, when momentum's going well, everything's going right, it just seems to come easily, but then something happens and derails you, and then it all falls apart. So if you are that kind of person, I would really encourage you to be keeping some of these convenience options handy. And then I guess it's two-part really. It's the mindset element of actually adjusting what you think healthy eating is, but then it is also the logistical element of making sure that you have these things in stock. Most of the options that I spoke about before do have a longer shelf life, so they typically are things that you can just keep in the fridge or the freezer, or the cupboards, I suppose, and then you've just always got them ready to go. So my challenge to you, a bit of a call out, try and think of 2 to 3 what we call plan B meals. I just need to do more podcasting to learn to speak again, I think. But yeah, so if you can come up with a couple of plan B meal options that are minimal prep, let's say under 5 minutes, and they come from ingredients that have got a good shelf life. That's my little challenge here. Let me know how you go. You can run them by me on Instagram on peak.nutrition.coaching. I think my email might even be in the show notes. So if you've got any questions around that, just give me a shout. But other than that, I will speak to you soon.